Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Yves Kipondo, and in this video, I would like to share with you some tips to manage storage devices on Red Hat server using Ansible. So I will go on my server and start doing the configuration. As you can see on my screen, I've already opened a SSH session to my control node. So I'll start by creating a directory which will contain all my files to manage my storage devices. So I'll create a directory mkdir manage storage, and I will open that directory. Okay, I'm already in that directory, and I will start by creating the configuration files to specify all my access details. So I'll do v, so I'll increase my default size so you can see well my screen. Okay, so I'll just increase the size of the windows as well, and I think this will be great. So I'll start by creating an ansible.cfg file, and in this one I will do create two sections, the default section and the privilege escalation section. And here I'll do become equal true, become user equal root, become method equal sudo, and become ask pass equal to false. So whenever I start using Ansible, I will not be asked to enter the password of the user which I'm connected to my remote server. And on the first section, I'll specify the inventory file which I will use, which will be in the current directory as inventory. And I'll specify also the host key checking to false. I'll add to true as I've already loaded all my key. You can check the previous video which I did on how to set up the environment to manage Ansible device with Ansible. So I'll add true here, true, and I will specify also remote user equal to Ansible, and that will be all. And as I've already said that, I will also create an inventory file which will contain nodes, and here I will use the range to define my server 1 through 5, and it will be local.dev, and I'll try to ping that devices using Ansible module. So I'll do Ansible -m ping, and I will ping all devices. So I'll just wait for it and see if it works. So as you can see, I can reach all my 5 server. So I will open the file which will show you all the question or topic which we'll cover in this video. So I'll go here and open the file, and here is the main guide which I'll follow to manage all the storage device using Ansible. So as prerequisite, you must have 5 server or 5 or 4 server. So the first one should be the control node, and the other 4 you will use them as manage nodes. And if you are still wondering how to configure manage node and the control node, you can check my previous video. I will just link that video on this video as well. And other requirement, you must have on each server a first disk device with 20 gigabytes, and on some of them you will attach a second device SDB. So on the second node we will attach a disk SDB with size 2 gigabytes. On the third one we will attach another disk of 5 gigabytes, but on the fourth one I will attach a disk of type NVMe instead of SDB, as is usually you will find on VirtualBox disk of type SDB, but this time I'll use an NVMe type of 5 GB, and on the first node I won't attach any devices. So I will go here and show my configuration actually. So here is all my nodes. So the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth, and the fifth one. So if I go on the first one, as you can see here, if I go on storage, there is only one disk attached. And on the second one, there should be one disk of 5 GB. So if I go here, there is the second one with of 2 GB instead of 5, 2 GB, the second one. And on the third one, if I go here, you can see there is another one of type of size 5 GB. And on the fourth one, I have another disk of 5 GB, but this time is of type NVMe, as you can see here. So to attach a disk of type NVMe, you must first attach a controller on your VM of type NVMe. So I'll just open one of my server here to just show you how you can do that. So you will go on the server settings, and on the storage, you will go here underneath and click add. So you will choose the NVMe controller, and once you click there, it will add another NVMe controller, and you can click plus here to add another NVMe storage devices. So I'll close that. But by default, that is not available on your server. To have that setting or that setup on your server, you must add an extension to your VirtualBox. So I'll go here and show you that extension. If you go here in preferences, and under extension, I've already had that extension, and that's the extension name is VirtualBox extension pack. You can search for it on internet. So I'll do VirtualBox extension pack. So in my case, I've already installed that, and you will check on your site which version you want. In my case, I'm using VirtualBox version 6.5. So I'll check here the version 6.1. So here by default, you will find the version. So I'll just check for it where it is. VirtualBox. So extension pack, you will find the version 7. So if you are looking for version 6.1, I will go just here and do VirtualBox extension pack 6.1 or what you are looking for. So if you search for that, you will find just the first link, and there you will find the right extension or right version for your VirtualBox. And you can download there for each OS you are using. So go back on my practice. So here I've already attached those disks like said on the document. So I'll open again the documentation. So we have one disk of 2 GB on the second node, and one disk on the first node of 5 GB, and the third one of 5 GB, but this time is NVMe type. So I'll open my shell again. So as you can see, I'm on my shell, and I was able to ping all my nodes. And now I'll start the configuration. So the first thing which I have to do is to know or to inspect all my nodes to know which devices or which node or which managed node have a second block devices. So I'll go here and do vim manage storage.yml, and here I will start. As you may know, all playbook must start with 3 dash, and I will also add a name: configure storage devices on managed nodes. Okay, And here hosts, I will target all hosts. And for task, I will start by inspecting all my VMs or my node to know which one has a second devices. So I'll do name. So I'll do check all block devices, and here I'll use just debug, and here I'll do MSG, and here I will use I want to list only the block devices on each node. So I'll just exit here, and I will use Ansible ad hoc. So I'll target all my nodes, and here I will just try to list Ansible devices. So I'll use a filter. So here it will be setup, and as argument I'll use filter equal Ansible devices, which will list all devices attached to my server. So I'll press enter, but this one will return many details, and I must filter through that to know exactly what I want. So I'll wait for it to complete. So as you can see, I'll just go on the last one. On this one, on node 3, we have the first device, which is named at DM0. And we have also SDA, which is the first block device attached. And we have also the second block device, but I don't want to manage it to deal with this one. So I'll go on I'll go in my file. So I'll just clean that here, and I'll try to list only keys so you can see which block device are attached on my server. So I'll do Ansible devices dot keys. So as you know, Ansible is based on Python, so you can have access keys of collection using key. So I'll press enter and write and exit. I'll just execute that. Ansible play manage. So here we will see only the name of block device attached without many or so much information. So as you can see here on the third node, we have DM1, SR0, DM0, and SDA1 and SDA. On the second one, we have DM and SDA, SDB. And here on the fourth one, as you can see, we have NVMe type disk. So I want also to cover another topic actually, which is the naming convention used by Red Hat when it comes to name block devices. So I'll open another file here. So here. So based on the type of devices which are attached on a server, you can have different name on your server. So if we're using SATA devices, you will have name the block device name as SD, and X, which will be replaced by A. So from A to Z or other naming convention. And when you are using NVMe, you can see here the naming convention is dev NVMe 0 N1. N is so 0 here is so it represents the controller. So if you go here, so NVMe, so X which is 0 at this time. So as you can see here where it is, so here X is the controller index, and Y represent the namespace indexes. So if you have the first block device of type NVMe, it will be named NVMe 011. The second one will be named NVMe M1N1. So that is the name convention of NVMe device. And when it comes to partition, it is so after the name which you have, you will also add P for partition plus the index of the partition on that block devices. So that will be the convention naming of NVMe, which is a little bit different from the standard one which we may know of SATA block devices. So I'll go back on my server. So I'll clean this one, and now I'll do vim manage So as we have already discovered, or we know all the naming convention used on my server, I'll start by discovering or detecting the name of the devices used on each server instead of having to type it manually, as I have two kind of block devices. So the first task which I will create, so I'll delete this one. So the first task, I will name it name detect second device name on SATA disk. As we have two type of disk, so I'll have disk of type NVMe and disk of type SATA. So I have to create two tasks to detect the name of device, and the second one will be named. So the second one will be detect second device name on NVMe disk, and here I will use a module set fact. So I'll do name. So I'll do Ansible, just add another one space there, built-in set fact. And this one has a few arguments, and the first one is the name of the variable or the fact which you want to create. And in my case, the name will be at device name. And for the value, I will, so it's not name, so I'll just delete this one. So it's not name, so this one. So the name of that fact will be device name, and for the value it will be SDB. And so to know if that device is present, so I'll add the end clause, the when statement. So I'll do Ansible devices SDB is defined. So here, and for the second one, here I'll add, here it will be NVMe 0 and 1. So like I said on the previous document, here you can see the naming convention NVMe 0 and 1. So which was also the name which we detected when I use Ansible device keys. So here I'll go and do NVMe 0 and 1. Right, and so I'll go back. Here I will delete some space, leave only one space. Okay, so I have those tasks defined. So I'll go back here and I'll try to, so I'll just execute this one. I'll call my playbook and I have an error after fact Ansible. So I'll go and edit that one. So I must delete this space, and that will be all. Execute it again. So it executed, and gathering facts. And as you can see, on node 3 and node 2, we have SATA disk attached, but on the node 4, we have NVMe disk attached on that one. So that can help to detect the type or the kind of device are on my server. And I'll go back on my PDF file. So go back on my guide here, and here it says if second disk is not present, the message the second hard disk is not present should be shown and stop the execution task on that host. Okay, so if you want to handle this kind of question, you can have there is two way or two different manner you can tackle that. So I will go with the first one. So here, so I'll go here, and here I'll add check. So name it will be check the presence of the second check. I'll do check if second disk is present. And here I'll just add, I'll start by using assert. So assert assert module. So I'll go here, and this one have some key which is required. So here I'll do that. So assert that the first one will be Ansible or device name is defined. So this one will only be shown on device which have detected the second device on the third. So the third one, the second one, and the fourth one. Then the other one will not be detected. And if it's not detected, I will display the message which was set here. So it must show the second hard disk is not present. So I'll copy that. So maybe I can just write it. So I'll go here and I'll use fail msg, and here it will be the second hard disk is not present. So I'll go back here. The second hard disk is not present, and so okay, so I will check first if so I think that will be all, and I'll write it and go and execute it. Right, so I'll execute it. So as you can see, on the first node, we get the second hard disk is not present. On the fifth one, we have also the second hard disk is not present, as on both nodes, we don't have a second disk device, but on the other node, we have second disk device. So I will just go back in my playbook, and here I will add another statement to check that is present, or can leave it like that. And the second way which you can use, so here if I had another, so after we detect that, so the execution must continue only on device which have the second device. So here I'll just use a simple debug. So I'll do this simple debug. So here I'll do debug, and the message will be we continue as there is second device, and okay, that will be all. And if I go back here and execute that, we'll see that last task will be only executed on node which have second device, and the other node will not be present. As you can see here, we have only second, third, and fourth. So that is the first way to use or to check if the device is present, and to restrict the execution on other node which doesn't have devices. So I'll go, and the second one, so I'll just comment this one, which is will be the method or the way which I use. And here I'll just comment all that. And the second one, or the second way, will be to use the second one will be to use to fail the fail module. So I'll go here and do dash name check. So I'll just copy this one, delete that, and here I'll use the fail module. So it will be fail, and I'll do here it take argument as msg for message and 1 2, and the message will be this one. So I'll paste it here, and I will delete it from here to there. So here like that, and here the condition will be the when statement will be the same as which was used here. So here I'll have that, and I will delete this one to remove the comment, and okay, and here I'll add when like this. I forgot double quote, not double quote colon. So like this, and here I can delete. So if I execute this one as well, we can see we'll continue only on. So I have an error here. So where it is, I think it is here. Okay. Yes, there. And okay, that will be okay. Execute and call again my playbook or execute my playbook. So the statement is not correct. So here is not defined. So if it's not defined, so if it fail when the device name is not defined, and write and quit and execute that again. Okay, I think I've just one error with my fifth node, so I don't bother to work on that actually, so I'll just leave it like it is. And as you can see, check if second disk is not present. So here we get the second disk, the second hard disk is not present. That was on the first node, but on the other node it's Skyped, and as you can see here, we continue on your node 2, third and fourth. So that returned the same result as my previous way. So, but I'll go here and I'll just opt for assert instead of using fail module. That is just a preference, so you can use that if you want. And I'll just continue here, and I'll just using Ansible full naming of each module instead of adding the short name built in. So well, and here it will be, so I'll delete this one as we no longer need it. And that will be all. Save it and execute it again to check if everything is going well. Okay, so we have the assertion fail on node 1 and on node 5 is present. So here I said that. Okay, and now we'll continue with so now I know that if I have this one, the next task will be only executed on node which will have or which will meet the requirement of having a second block devices, which will be detected as NVMe or SATA depending on the disk which are attached on my device. So now I'll go and start by creating So as we are able to detect the type of devices and check if the device is present or not, and to continue with other tasks, I'll go and to check the next step, which will be, so here, if the second disk is not present, the message is displayed. We get that already, and stop the execution of the task on that. Also will no longer have task executed on node which have only single block devices. And on the second disk, create a single partition that span the entire available space. And should you detect the name of the disk device? So we have already detected the name of the block devices, which is NVMe or SDB. And now I'll go and create a partition. So I'll go back on my terminal here. So I'll create a name. So it will be create an LVM. So I'll create partition on second device. So here I'll add just the name of the device so we can know on which device we are creating name. So it will be device name. And here I'll use the Ansible Ansible, so it's community general parted. So this one. So if you are wondering where I get that name, so I'll just use Ansible Ansible doc parted. So you can see the name of the collection here at the top. Ansible community general parted. So exit, and here this one, I'll go back on that. So you can see some example at the end. Example. So here you can see if you want to create a partition, you must specify the device on which you want to create partition, the number of partition, the states present, and the FS type which you want to add on that partition. And if you go back here on my question, here it's mentioned as ext4. So it's mentioned as ext4, so I will not bother to touch on that. So I'll just go here and do, here it will be device. So here it will be dev, and here I'll add the device name, which was detected depending on NVMe or SATA disk attached. And here it will be number will be equal to 1, and state I will add present. So here present, and now I'll just check to show. I'll just try to show you if you are partition on those node or not. So I'll do Ansible. So I'll just use Ansible add hoc command, Ansible all, and here I'll use A and do df I'll use lsblk, this one. So this will list all block devices on all of my node. So here on node 5 we have so on node 5 we only have SDA. On node 1 we have SDA, and on node 3 we have SDB, which doesn't have any partition. On node 2 we have SDB as well, it doesn't have partition. And on node 4 we have NVMe, which doesn't have partition. But I will go and execute my playbook to create the partition. So I'll call again my command, this one. So this will create partition on all my managed nodes. So it went okay, that's failed, okay. And now it create partition on node 4, 2, and 3. And now if I call back again my ad hoc commands, we will see there will be some partition on all those nodes. So here on SDB we have partition 1, on this is on node 2, on node 5 we doesn't have partition, on node 3 we have also partition SDB, and if we go up on node 4 we have NVMe partition created. So you can see the naming convention of partition is applied here. So I'll go back on my question. So I'll go back on my VM on my playbook, and if we go here, so on the second disk, create a single partition that span the entire available space. I'm sure we have already detected, and create a LVM volume group named VG data. So now we have to create a volume group on that using that partition. So I'll go back here and I'll do create. So I'll do name, add space, no name, create LVM volume group VG data on SATA. So here I'll have device name. So as we have different naming convention of partition on SATA and on NVMe, I must target each type of partition independently. So I'll create 2 tasks again here. So NVMe on here, it will be on NVMe. So here it will be device name, and here I will use community general.lvg. So LVG, and I'll show the documentation as well. This one is very important when you are working on Ansible, to check every module and to know how that module is used, which are requirement, argument, or mandatory options, and some examples. So I'll go again here and use example. So I'll add example. So as you can see, to create a volume group on top of dev SCA with physical extent of 2, we have VG, PV, and P size. And here we have state present. So I'll just use VG, PV, and state, and that will be all. So I'll just exit. And here I'll do VG. VG is the name of the volume group. In my case is VG data. And for PV on SATA disk, it will be SDB1, and on NVMe, it will be NVMe 0 and 1 P1. So here it will be dev. So, and here I will add device name, which was detected, and so just space there, and here. So I've noticed that I'm using VG data many times, so I'll just go and define a variable here at the top. So it will be var, and it will be volume group name, and it will be VG data. So I will do at the same time as the logical volume name, logical volume name, it will be LV data. So I'll just add it here. So I'll specify those at the same time, so we don't have to go back to set that again. And here I must add one as I'm on SATA, and this one should be executed only on devices which has SATA block devices. And also I'll add the one statement or one clause, and here it will be devices name equal SDB. I think that will be all. And I'll copy this one and do the same on NVMe as well. So go here, press past that, and here it will be NVMe. But here I'll add P1, and here it will be NVMe 0 and 1. Okay, I think that will be all. And now if I write it and execute, so if I do Ansible ad hoc commands on all node, and here it will be VGS. Actually, we will only see one volume group, which is the default one, which came with the devices. So as you can see, we have rel. Okay, and on other one we have also rel, but there is some error, but we won't focus on that now. So I'll go back here and I'll do. So I will now execute my command, so my playbook. So I'll go here, run my playbook. So we check if the second disk is present, create a partition, okay, and create a volume group. So we create the volume group on node 2 and 3 for SATA, and on node 4 we create volume group based on NVMe disk, as on that node we have NVMe disk. So that will be okay. And after that we must create a volume group name VG data. It's done. So as you can see, my playbook was executed successfully, and I just tried to fix the error which was displaying SDB A not found related to LVM. I've already fixed that, and now as you can see, all my playbook is successfully. And now I'll call again my ad hoc command here, so you can check the device. So as you can see here, we have VG data on node 2 and VG data on node 4, and also we have VG data on node 3. Okay, now we'll go and check the next step, which will be, so we create the volume group, and here if the volume group size is equal to or smaller than 3 gigabytes, create a LVM logical volume of size 1 gigabyte. Otherwise, create a LVM logical volume of 4 gigabytes. So here is just creating a volume group on the or logical volume on a volume group which we just created. So I'll do vim managed. So I'll go at the end, and here I will do name create LVM logical volume on logical LV data on VG data. So for the logical volume, it doesn't depend on device type. This one is only rely on the volume group which exists. So we have already created a volume group, and now we'll create a logical volume. So here it will only be one task, and here it will be community general dot lvol. So it's community lvol, and here I will start by, so I'll just check how that is used. Ansible doc lvol. I'll go on the example section. Example. So here to create a logical volume, we have a VG, so the volume group on which we want to create a logical volume. We have LV for the name of the volume group we want to create, and the size also. And we also have here size, we have 103 and other option. So here we have already size which I've already specified on the question. So if the volume group size is equal to or smaller than 3 gigabytes, so I must start by checking the type of or the size of each volume group. And for that, I'll go here. So I'll just exit. And here I'll do Ansible. I'll call again the header command with the setup module, setup, and I'll use another filter. Here it will be LVM, so Ansible LVM, and I think I'll pipe this one to T, and the output will go to fact.txt. So here T, it allows me to have the output written to this text file and also shown on my terminal. So press enter. So I think I have an error here. Ansible LVM filter. So here I think it's A, not O. So I've corrected that, and we will wait for it to complete. So okay, as you can see, we have the output, and if I check, I do YCL on fact.txt, we have more than 100 lines. So that is how you can use the T command. So I'll just remove that, and I'll go here. We can see here we have here on node 5, we are on VG. Here we have only one volume group, and if we scroll up, here we have on node 1, we have also one VG or volume group. But when we go on node 3, node 2, we have two VG. So we have VG data and ROL, which is the default one. So I must check the size, which you can find here. So here the size in gigabytes. So what I will do, I'll access Ansible LVM and VG and access the volume group here. So I'll go back on my playbook, and here I'll do when. So I want to create a here. So volume data on. So create LVM volume data on VG data with on VG data with more than 3 gigabytes. So I must create two tasks, and the other one, it will be with more than So with more than 3 gigabytes with so here it will be with less than 3 gigabytes, and here it will be with more than 3 gigabytes. So if I go back here, so I'll just write this one, delete this one, copy the one and paste it here. And so I'll go back here. So if the volume group size is equal to or smaller than 3 gigabytes, create a VME size of 1 gigabyte. So I'll go back here on my terminal, and here less than. So here it will be VG is we have already the VG in the volume group name variable, and for the LV it will be logical volume name, and for the size here it will be 1 gigabyte if as we are on less than 3 gigabyte, but the condition here it will be Ansible LVM. Here we access VGS, and here we'll access which property. Here it will be the volume group name. So here I'll add volume group name. So when you are on one statement, it is already accepting template tag. So I don't have to wrap the variable name in curly brace. So instead of adding this one like this, so I'll add also a double quote here. So here it takes already the template, so I don't have to put double quote and as well as curly brace. So I'll just delete them. Go at the end, name. Okay, so I'll check if it's defined. It's defined. So that's okay. So if the volume group, so I'll just exit here and go back here. So as you can see on some node, the volume group with the name of the VG is not there. So, but here we have that. So I must first check if it's present. So that's why I put this one, Ansible LVM VG volume group name is defined. And if it's defined, now I can check the size. So I'll delete this one, and here I'll go here and add v size underscore g here. Okay, so I want to check if it is greater than 5 gigabytes. So I can greater or equal or less or equal to 3 gigabytes. So I'll add 3 there and delete that. But there will be some problem which I will show you just actually. So I'll go and execute that again. So Ansible executed. Okay, wait for it to execute. Create a second partition, create a volume VG. So here, as you can see, the condition check Ansible. Here you see it return volume group name SG greater fail. The error was unexpected template occurring if true. Okay, an unsafe text not support between instance of text and int. So actually we are trying to compare an integer and string. So we must first convert the string which is which we get here. So the size of the VG here, we must convert it in int, and for that I'll just go back here and I'll wrap it inside of a string like this, and I'll go here, add double quote and delete that, add space, and here I'll add pipe and int. So this is a filter which will convert this value into int, this value, and I'll copy this one so it will be exactly the same on this one as well. So just copy that and paste it here. Delete this two line, and here it will be if it is greater than 3, and okay, here it will be 4 gigabytes. 4 gigabyte, and okay, more than, okay, I think that will be okay. So if I write and execute and quit, now I can call it again. So create the second partition, create logical volume, VG data, okay. So here you can see we created LV data on VG greater than, so VG data with less than 3 gigabytes. So on the second node, if I go here, on the second node, we attach a disk of 2 gigabytes. That's why it's target on this task. And on the other two nodes, we have disk of size greater than 3 gigabytes. That's why they are target here. So we created the logical volume based on this condition which was provided here. So we must also, the next step is to format that newly created volume group with ext4. So to do that, I must go here, go back in my playbook, go here, and I will add another task. It will be create file system on LV data logical volume. So here I will use the file system module. So it's also stored in the general connection, not collection general module. So yes, collection general module, file system. And this one will check the documentation and Ansible doc file system. So if you go here, I'll go again on the example section. So as you can see, to create the ext4 to file system, it is fine. So you specify fs type, and you specify also the dev device which you want to create the file system. And so that will be all. So I'll go back here. So I'll do fs type will be ext4, and device, so dev will be, so here for the device name, so I'll just exit here and I will do ls, so I'll do Ansible all, and I'll do a, so I'll do ls dev mapper, so you can see the naming convention used on each node. So as you can see here, we have the name, which is VG data dash VG data, so VG data dash LV data. We have also VG data dash LV data. So that is the name which I will use. So here it will be dev mapper. So here it will be volume group name dash without space logical volume name, and the state, our hard state as well, which will be present. So it's one of the best practices to always add the state on each task. So here also our hard state present. I'll copy that as well and add it here. So on each task, we will have present. So state present. So you must just add state present everywhere. So that is just for best practice. It is not required. So it is by default, it's already set. So, okay. Dev mapper, okay, that is the name. I can wrap it in double quote, but it's not required. And I will register it. As you can see here, it said mount the logical volume on file system. So I'll just go back here. We'll go back. So we'll start by creating a file system on that. So I'll just execute again my playbook. So we wait for it to complete. So create partition, create LVM volume, create logical volume. Okay, create file system. So it only create on node 2 and 3. So I'll just call it again because there was an error here. Node 3. So on node 4, we get an error of connection. I'll just check it. I think I have some error with that node. I'll try again to ping that to see if it's work. Okay, now it's fine, and I'll call again my playbook. Okay, and now it should create the file system on node 4, as on previously it didn't succeed on that. So okay, and now here, okay, we have, and now if I do Ansible all a, so I'll do lsblk blk minus t, I think t, if I'm not wrong, to show the file, also the file system type. So if I go no, so lsblk minus f, so it is f to show the file system. So I'm just call that again, minus f. So here minus f. So we can see the file system created on the VG data file. So as you can see, it's ext4, and here again is ext4. If I go up again, and here is ext4 as well. So okay, so we have created the file system on that good, and now we must mount that file system as well. So here it is mount the logical volume on MNT file. For this, using NVMe control, mount the volume using UID, and for the other tab, use the path of the volume of the logical volume. This is a little bit complex than it sounds, and for that we must retrieve the UID of the volume group before we can mount the disk. So I'll go back here, and I'll start by v manage. So I'll start by getting the name or the UID of my volume. So I'll go back here. So we have that. So I'll start by retrieving the UID. So name get UID of LV logical volume server, get UID of LVM logical volume on server with NVMe. So this one, it's only targeting this server with NVMe storage. So here I'll add a when statement, when, and here I'll just so just set the relative number, and I'll go on line 30, copy that one, go at the end and paste it here. So it only target disk with device NVMe, and here it will be, I will use a shell command. So it will be Ansible built-in shell, and the command will be, so if you want to know the logical or the UID of a block device, you can use lsbl key id, which list mine. So go on as root sudo sudash. So I'll do bl key id. So this will list all devices with UID. And now I can use that command to retrieve that data. So here I will use bl key id on dev. So I'll just copy this one, paste it here. So I'll delete this one. Okay, I just want to retrieve for this device in particular, so I can dump that just here. So just copy these two lines. So I don't want it to be displayed for every devices or every managed nodes. I want to show it only on device with NVMe disk. So I'll use debug, and here it will be MSG, and I will debug this one. So I'll register it so we can get that register. I will name it as LV data UUID or LV data UID, yes. And here I'll use just dump, or I can use var LV data. So I'll just dump or debug that variable. And now I can call again my playbook, execute my playbook, so we can see the output of that command. Okay, that is not important now. So here, okay, everything goes well. Okay, so as you can see here, we have the line which is retrieved with the UID which is right here. So I must use this UID to mount the logical volume on all my nodes. So as I've it here, I can go back here, and I'll continue with my process. So name. Now I want just to get that part with the UID, so I must split that text with Ansible. So I'll go here and get only the UUID string from LV data UUID variable. Okay, so and here I will store it as a fact. So I'll use Ansible, or I can register, but I will just store it as a fact. Ansible built-in set fact, and here the name will be LV data UUID string, and here I will add when statement. So this will only be executed on disk with NVMe. If I don't have the when statement, it will be executed on all three devices, which will show error as that NVMe will not present. And I'll go here and add another statement. So I want to split that output which we get here, this one. So I want to get this one. As Ansible is based on Python, I can split it with based on space, which will retrieve through 3 elements. So I'll go back here, Ansible. So I'll just cancel that. Yes, here I'll go here and do. So I'll just replace it with MSG. Oh yes, and do. Yes, and I'll do wrap this one. Not, I won't wrap that. I'll just add split with space. So just comment this one. Just delete this one. Comment all these lines so I can only see this one. Okay. And if I call again this one, okay, it's succeed on whole node, fail only on node 1 and 5. And now if we go back, we go down, wait for it. Okay, so split is not recognized. So I'll just go here and change it into something else. So I'll do it like this. So just this one. Okay, and here I'll just do it here. Wrap it like this. So I must wrap it like this. So I'll try to wrap it like this also to see if it worked this time. Comment all this line. Execute it again and wait to see if it works perfectly. So it doesn't work. So I'll go just here and create a new fact, which will store that string. And here it will be set fact. And I'll copy this one, copy it and go and paste it here. Okay. And now I will dump that here. So I'll go var lv data uuid string. Okay, if I execute that, okay, wait for it, oh, there is another error. So is lv data std out. I mistyped something here. So it is std out. So this is because if I go here, so just delete it quickly, data, and comment this one again. Or I can just exit and I'll go up here. I think we have that output somewhere. So it's here, lv data uid. We have that line in std out here, this one. Okay, that's why I must use std out here dot std out and split. Okay, and if I write again here and execute it again, now we should have the right output in the terminal. So just wait for it. Expected template growth. Okay, std out. There's still an error. I specified 4 curly braces instead of 2. Okay, and that will be all. Okay, so just wait again. Okay, as you can see here, we have, after we split that line in lv data uid string, we have 3 So as it's a list, we have 3 items. The first one which contain the name, and the second one which contain the type of the or the UID which we need, and also the file type on that volume, logical volume. So I'll go back and edit again here. And now as we have already UID on the second we know that we have it on LV data as on the second item. So if I go here and add this one as this one, right, and exit. Okay. So here we have only the UID, and now I can use that to mount my file system. And when you want to mount the file system, you must first create the mount point. And here in the documentation, it was in the doc, it was to create to mount it on MNT files. So that directory must be created. So here I'll define another task which we name create mount point of logical volume. Here it will be logical volume name. And here I'll use Ansible built-in file module. And when you want to create a directory, you can use specify the path and the state which will be equal to directory. So here I'll just delete till s, and here it will be mount point will be, so I'll just create another variable which will be mount point, which will be equal to MNT files. Go at the end here, and I'll add mount point. Okay, as it's on the beginning of the line, it must be wrapped inside of double quotes. And so okay, we create the directory, and now I must get the UID. So I'll create another task here to set the UID variable. So set the UUID fact of the LVM logical volume. So here I'll call this one. So okay, copy this one as well, paste it here, and one statement, and here the name will be UUID. So okay, that's all. So here I assume the directory is created, and I'll go directly with the next step, which will be to mount or to create the mount point. So it will be name mount logical volume name on mount point with UUID on NVMe. So if we are on NVMe device type, we must use the UID storage. And so here I'll just add copy this one statement, copy it and paste it just here. And when we are on a normal or SATA device, we must use a mount point. So here I'll use Ansible. I'll use Ansible. So I'll just check on which collection the mount module is defined, doc mount. So the mount is defined on Ansible POSIX mount. So I'll just go exit. So I'll go here and define Ansible POSIX mount, and you must specify a source. After source, you must specify also the path where you must mount, also the FS type, and the state as well, and also boot if you want it to boot to be present on boot. So just delete all everything. Okay, okay, okay. I think that's all. So on NVMe, the source must be the UUID, which is already stored in this one. So I'll go here and do just this one, UUID. And the mount point should be mount. The path where it's mounted, it should be in mount point. And if FS type is ext4, the state is present. I think that's all for the NVMe. And now it's remained for the other type, which is so it should be mounted using a LVME path. So mount logical volume on with device path. So here the path will be, so the path we have already it here somewhere is I think is this one. So just copy this one, or I can go here directly, go at the end, paste it here. I'll replace dev by path, delete this one. So it must be source src. The path should be the mount point, FS type. I think that's all. And here it should be on SDB. STB. I think that will be all. Write and execute. Write and exit. And now I can call it back and call again my playbook or execute it. So I'll just wait for it. Okay, everything is going smoothly. Okay, create partition on second disk, create LVM volume group, create LVM volume group, create logical volume, you get UID, get and create mount point on logical volume. Okay, mount LV data with UID. This is only on node 4, and with path is with node on node 2 and node 3. And now if I go and do Ansible all minus A, and I will do df minus h. So as you can see, we cannot see the mount file system actually. So this is because when we use the mount point, it only updates the, so call on node 4 dot local dot dev, I'll do cat etc fs tab. So it only updated the fs tab, but it haven't updated yet the mount devices. So if you can see here, so I think there is some error in this file. It should not be like this, so I must go here. I must rectify that. It should be UUID. So here UUID, it should be UUID should be equal to, oh, there is an error here. It should be UUID string, and here it should be 0 like this. Okay. Okay, 0. Okay, that's fine. Okay, now I can just execute that again. Ansible, call back my playbook. That should fix this line. So, okay. Okay, okay. Okay, okay. Oh, there is an error. So where is that error coming from? Oh, there is a parenthesis before that. So it should be like this. Okay, now if I call again. That's included with no attribute string or not for UUID. Okay, so I think there is an error somewhere. UUID of LV data UUID string and delete it, right, and exit. Execute it again. I think now is fine. Everything should work as it should. Objects is work normally, so just wait a few seconds. Okay, that's fine. I think now everything is good. And now if I call again cat on fs tab, etc fs tab, yes, we have the right line. Okay. No, it is mounted using. So, okay, I think there is an error. Here, the mount point should be the UUID on NVMe. So, source UUID. Okay. Set fact UUID. LV data string. So, UUID. It's not 1, it's 0, it should be 1 here. I make an error there. So now everything should be normal. Okay, and now if I call again cat on fs tab, we should get the UUID instead of that file. Okay, we have a UUID, but if we call df-h, we will not see that mount point, so it's not there. That is because after you use the mount module, it's only update the fs tab, but it doesn't remount or refresh the mount point. So for that, I must add another task here just at the end, which will refresh mount point. So I'll just add name refresh all mount point, which will use the Ansible built-in module shell. And here the command will be just mount -a, which will remount everything. So it will mount -a. And that will be all for this playbook. So if I do again Ansible playbook, okay, so everything is going smoothly, and if we go at the end, it should remount everything and refresh all mount points. Okay, it's succeeded on all node. And if I do Ansible all a df-h, and now we should see the mount point. So somewhere here you can see VG data, LV data is mount on mount files. Here also on node 3. And if we go up on node 2 as well, we have that. Okay, so I will open just the playbook. So the first step was to detect the type of block device attached on the server. And after that, I check if that is present to know on which node I should continue with the process. And after that, I create the volume group. We create the volume group based on the type of device attached to the server. For SATA disk, we had the condition. Also for NVMe, we had another condition. And after that, we create the volume, the logical volume, with depending on the size of logic or volume group which is created on the server. And after that, we create a file system. After we create a file system, so where it is, we create a file system. We also get the UID as on the NVMe we should mount using the UID as it was specified in the guide here. And after we retrieve the UID, we mount now using the UID for NVMe and using the block path or the logical volume path on SATA disk. That was everything which I wanted to share with you in this video. So we cover everything about storage management with Ansible on RHEL systems. So I went for partition creation, file system creation, detection of type of devices attached on your server. And I show you all those things in this video. If you are interested or you find this video was very helpful and very interesting, you can subscribe to my channel and ring the bell notification so you can be notified whenever I post a new video. And you can also leave comment if you have question or you have some kind of need or you want me to cover any topics around Ansible management. You can check that and I can shoot or create a video whenever I have time. So see you in my next video.